Hello, everybody, and welcome back to your favorite film podcast, the best film podcast out there, one might say. The Average Film Enjoyer. We are your average film enjoyers. I am Trey. I'm joined today by my co-hosts, Jagger, and we finally get a face reveal from
Hello,
the man, Evan.
it's me.
Fellas, how we doing today? It's been a week. We missed Friday, which I apologize to all of our listeners to. All three of us were very busy this weekend, so we just didn't have time to get out an episode. But fellas, it's been a week. How are we doing? How was our week?
Good. A lot of salt burn. I'm good.
Yeah, you logged it what, 4 times this last week?
4 times since our last episode.
It's crazy. Damn. Evan, how about you?
How
you doing, bud?
Dude, I'm phenomenal. I got a promotion at work. Went from the lowly cashier at Save On Foods to the head baker in the bakery. So this morning was my first baking shift, 5 a.m. It was awesome. I loved it. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
So
do you
that's
like
really
baking a lot?
I bake almost every single week. I love baking.
Hell yeah,
I made
man.
a fresh batch of bagels this weekend. I got a KitchenAid.
I know you sent us a picture of the bagels.
Yeah.
They look so good.
Yeah. So my family does, since my dad lives in Ontario, which is very far from me, we do late Christmas in January because it's too expensive for him to fly for Christmas. So this last weekend, that's what I was doing. We rented this Airbnb in this super fancy in the mountains. It was beautiful. The whole family pitched in and bought me a stand mixer, and I was baking, and it was a great weekend. So
yeah,
I'm doing good, and I've been just watching peak movies, which I'll get into later. But doing good.
Are you a fan of Great British Baking Show? My whole
family so I love the Great Canadian Baking Show. It's one of my favorite shows. I've never seen the British version yet, but the Canadian version is so good.
I didn't know there was a Canadian version.
Imagine a baking show where everyone is super polite and Canadian. It's the most wholesome shit you will ever watch, bro. It's amazing.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's great.
My mom got like the Great British Baking Show cookbook with all their recipes.
That's sick.
Right before COVID hit. And so when COVID first hit, those first like few months where we couldn't leave the house, every single day she would make one recipe.
Yeah, so that's where I started baking.
We either like had a fancy bread, we had cookies, we had cake.
Hell yeah.
Anything, dude. It was fucking awesome.
Do you watch Babish, like baking with or binging with Babish on YouTube? This bald guy with the beard.
I don't think so.
He's awesome. That's really where I learned to cook and bake more fancy stuff. And my brother bought me his cookbook.
Oh, that's sick.
So I got that this weekend. So I'm gonna crack into it soon.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm doing good as well. I hit my 1 year sober anniversary yesterday.
Woo!
Which is very exciting. Very
That's awesome.
Happy. So glad that I did get sober because if I hadn't, I wouldn't have been able to be a part of this podcast. So it's a good situation. Went to the pinball arcade this weekend. I've told Jagger about it. But Evan, I think we're about 40 minutes away from the country's largest pinball arcade. You pay like $22 flat rate and everything. They have over 500 games on the floor, and the majority of them are on free play except for like the claw machines and shit.
That's sick.
And it's like 40% pinball machines. The rest are arcade games, and it's 20,000 square feet of just
holy shit
arcade games. And it is covered floor to ceiling with like movie paraphernalia.
Oh damn, that's awesome.
So like you go to use in the men's bathroom right above the urinal. Right here is a signed picture from Steve Ulrich, and right here is a signed picture from Matthew Lillard. Both pictures of their characters in Scream.
That's crazy.
So yeah, went there this weekend to celebrate. Really cool. But yeah, let's get into some movie news. We've actually got a good amount this week. I mean, Star Wars confirms that Jon Favreau movie, The Mandalorian and Grogu, will film in 2024. Evan, I know we were talking right before this that you aren't a huge fan of Star Wars. I'm excited for this. I think a lot of the Star Wars shows didn't really do it for me, except The Mandalorian. I thought that first season was pretty good, and Grogu is just insanely cute. So I'm kind of looking forward to this.
It's weird because Mandalorian is pretty much side quests, the TV show. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious to see if the movie will up the stakes, or it'll just be one big side quest type thing, because they're, the dynamics great. Pedro kills it. Like the Mandalorian universe was really cool. Season 3 was pretty mid. But yeah, I'm erring on the side of optimism just because I want it to be good, but we'll see. I'm worried it's just going to be a big side quest movie.
Yeah. Jagger, what about you? Do you have any interest in this, or are you kind of just like, meh, I don't really care?
I mean, I think that, I liked the show, so I'll take it either way. I'll watch the movie. Might not love it, but I'll watch it.
Yeah, for sure. We also got news that Gerard Butler will be reprising Stoic for the live-action How to Train Your Dragon. He plays the dad. So he will be in that as the dad, which is exciting. Let's see, what else here? What else?
We did get big news in the world of TV today that Caitlin Denver has been cast as Abby for season 2 of The Last of Us.
Oh, that's exciting. I haven't gotten around to Last of Us yet.
The show or the game?
I've played the game.
Okay.
I haven't watched the show yet.
Gotcha.
I've heard great things, though.
Yeah, it's funny because Caitlin Denver was originally the fan cast for Ellie, and now she's been cast as Abby.
Yeah.
Because she looks like Ellie, she sounds like Ellie's got that same demeanor.
Yeah.
I pray for this poor actress.
It seems like she's doing a great job.
Yeah, I pray for the person that has to play Abby. That is not a fun role to portray.
Yeah, and it seems like Bella Ramsey and Pedro have really great on and off-screen chemistry.
It was weird when The Last of Us was filming because they filmed it in my hometown, so they shut down the universe. Yeah, they filmed it in Calgary.
That's crazy.
Watching the Philly episodes, they filmed it right outside. You know that shootout that happens in episode 6 or whatever when they first get into Philly?
I think
it's in the game, yeah. When Joel's got the guy pressing his neck into the glass. They filmed that right outside of my local classic theater where I saw 2001: A Space Odyssey, and the sign is still there in the show. And I was like, oh, that's so awesome.
That's fucking dope.
Yeah, it's cool seeing the landmarks. Yeah.
Yeah. We got, this is, I don't know if you guys will care about this at all. Steven Yeun. So we had news that he was cast and set to be in Marvel's Thunderbolts, which is one of the few Marvel projects that I'm actually looking forward to, which we got a trailer for Echo earlier this week, so we'll touch on that in a sec. But Thunderbolts is one I was actually looking forward to because it's kind of like the Dark Avengers. So we would have gotten Loki, we would have gotten Zemo back, Yelena, all these characters that I love. And Steven Yeun, and it was leaked who he was set to play Sentry, who is my favorite Marvel character. He has never been on the live screen. He's never been adapted out of the comics. He has the same powers. I don't know if you guys know who Sentry is, but he has the same powers as Superman, all powerful, strongest, fastest, just insanely powerful. But he is a paranoid schizophrenic and an alcoholic. So there's a lot of different and that's what I love about Marvel is they give these characters real human issues that can help you relate to them. And so he kind of is it's more complicated with him. And I was really excited. Steven Yeun was set to play him. But he is no longer going to be in that, which is disappointing. Oh, it started raining again. It's been raining so much here. Oh, Steamboat Willie is officially public
Yeah,
domain. I'm sure both of you saw this. There's already 2 horror movies
and a video game.
and a video game based on. So now Steamboat Willie is like out there for people to use, and so I think we're gonna get like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey-esque type movies for Steamboat
Absolutely.
Willie.
I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you saw it today, but Adult Swim posted like a "Be Right Back" picture, and it's just Steamboat Willie like kissing and humping the "Be Right Back" sign. They're playing it today. You should search it up. It's really funny.
That's really funny. Jagger, I know you're a fan. You're one of the few people who actually enjoyed Blood and
Winnie
Honey.
the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think
Wait.
of this?
What was the score on Blood and Honey?
Daddy?
3 stars.
That's
Yeah.
I
crazy.
gave it. I really wished that they had called it Screamboat Willie, but they didn't. I'm kind of mad about
That's
that.
a good name. Shit.
That is a really good name.
But they didn't use that, so points deducted for that. But I am extremely excited for this, and I will watch the entire like public domain horror movie cinematic universe, and I'll stay smiling through all of it. So
Yeah. I mean, it's dumb, and they're not like well written or actually good. But
they're
I
so
mean,
fun though.
That's what we talked about
Yeah.
with like the Henenlotter stuff and the Be Real Horror back in October. None of it is actually like well made. Like it's just dumb fun.
Like,
you know?
look at my 4.5-star rating this week for Five Nights at Freddy's.
That's
It's not.
that's
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
okay,
not well written.
That's
that's
another
a different thing.
conversation.
Okay, it's not well written. The plot sucks. The acting's really bad.
It's
and
also
it's-
not
all of
fun,
it's
and
really
it's
bad.
very boring.
It's so boring.
It's so boring.
But I have it in 93 out of 100 because
Oh my
as
God.
a fan, it makes me extremely happy to watch.
I respect that. I've never been a fan of the game. I didn't really grow up playing them, which is why I have it. I think I have it so low. Evan, I don't know about you. If you,
I've played the games. It's just a bad movie.
Yeah.
It's so boring. I fell asleep watching it.
yeah, it's oof.
In all of the 7 times I've watched it, I've yet to fall asleep.
You watched it 7? Are you serious? Damn.
In other news this week, unfortunately, actor Tom Wilkinson has died. I most know him from as Carmine Falcone in Batman Begins. R.I.P.
Wait, the guy
all
from
of-
the guy from the Full Monty?
Yes. I'm pretty sure it's in
Oh.
Full Monty.
So all of our thoughts go out to his family. Great career.
Yeah, he's great. He was really good in Michael Clayton, too.
Oh, I've never seen that.
Oh, that's great.
Um,
Should watch it. We'll get into it when you touch on Ides of March.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't think there's really too much else that's new. Golden Globes, though. We got the Golden Globes on Sunday. First, let's touch on the awards. This was
The
a
awards
great
were
year.
good. Yeah, the awards
the
were...
awards, it didn't feel rigged. Everybody
No.
who I think should have won.
There was only 2 that I was potentially, not really, but kind of sad about.
Which ones were those?
The animated, I would have loved to see Suzume win over Boy and the Heron. I think Suzume is a
that
masterpiece.
was one that I was mind blown
Yeah,
by.
I
was wondering-
cannot believe-
I thought Across the Spider-Verse was
Same.
going to win.
I thought it was
I-
a lock.
I know,
Yeah,
me too.
it should have been a lock. So I'm not mad that like a Studio Ghibli movie won. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I doubt the Oscars will follow suit, but we'll see.
Yeah.
The other one was screenplay. I really wanted to see Oppenheimer win this. I'm not
Who won? Remind me who won that?
Anatomy of a Fall one.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah. But see, I like the representation of foreign cinema.
Yeah, it's really cool. That was a big surprise. Like when we were watching it, all of us in the Real Talk Discord, we were shocked by that award. So I'm not mad about it, but it wasn't my first pick.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry though.
I-
I'll sit here and I'm gonna quickly defend Anatomy of a Fall, if I may. I, number one, think that this is the best movie of the year. As far as like technical stuff goes, as far as enjoyment goes, I'm all here for Poor Things. But as far as technical stuff goes, I don't believe in the last 20 years we've gotten a movie as good as Anatomy of a Fall. Let me explain.
Wow.
Anatomy of a Fall, through its entire runtime, has you guessing. A person who can write a screenplay where no matter every turn it takes for its entire 2 hours and 30 minutes, it all is totally justifiable for like 7 different options.
That's fair. That's really like I have Anatomy of Fall like 5th on the year, I think.
At no point are you definitively able to say what happened. At no point. 2 weeks later, I still can't tell you what happened. I have no clue. And that's what's incredible about Anatomy of a Fall.
That's fair, yeah. Again, like I'm not upset by it at all. But
Yeah,
Oppenheimer is just fucking peak. That's it.
Yeah. Holdovers got some love. We got Divine Joy Randolph and Paul Giamatti, who both won awards for their performances, which I love to see. Both of them 1000% deserved it.
Did you see that picture of Paul Giamatti at the In-N-Out after the awards?
Yes, dude.
What a Chad. What a king. Oh my god.
Paul Giamatti is a. Do you guys know who Matthew Friend is? I think that's his last name. He does impressions.
I don't think so. I'll have to look him up.
Well, he like was at the Golden Globes interviewing people, and he did impressions. Like he would interview people and do their voice, and he did it with Paul Giamatti, and it's like the most wholesome video.
That's awesome.
It's so great. Let's see, Oppenheimer. Surprisingly, me and Jagger did not predict this. I don't think anyone predicted this. I knew Cillian was going to win. I knew RDJ was going to win.
Jr.
But Best Director and Best Picture, I thought was going to Killers.
I'm so happy Nolan won Best Director. It's hit
1000%.
I saw someone say this, but like, now he is a phenomenal filmmaker and continues to put out peak. This is his Oscar movie, Oppenheimer. He puts out movies that are not in like Oscar movies, Tenet, Inception, Interstellar, whatever. This is an Oscar movie. Yeah, The Dark Knight, I guess, but this is the Oscar movie. So I am so happy that he's starting to win because he is an incredible filmmaker that deserves these awards. Like I would have loved to have seen Yorgos Lanthimos win this because I think Poor Things is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Killers of the Flower Moon has some issues. I don't think Bradley Cooper has any business winning this award.
No. I do
I'll
think
tell you
Yorgos didn't Yorgos win? Didn't Poor Things win for Best Picture?
Best comedy, yeah.
Called it again. We were
justifiably
right on,
so.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
It was very, very good.
I'm happy it won over Barbie. I thought Barbie was going to win.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what.
We also got that new award, the Cinematic and Box Office Achievement. Barbie won.
I'm so mad about that.
Why?
I'm so mad that award even exists.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought they were going to give it to Super Mario Bros. Or Taylor Swift.
And
I thought Taylor Swift might have taken it.
Yeah.
In previous years, the Golden Globes have just been a popularity contest, which is why I was nervous that Ryan Gosling might take supporting actor, because the Golden Globes have always been who is the best as far as who brought like people into seats.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the Golden Globes were. And the fact that they like discarded that, everyone was really happy. And then they gave it its own award of just who made the most money. I don't like that. I think that's kind of stupid.
Well, I don't think it was who made the most money. It was not only like who made the most money, but also like, because if it was just who made the most money, it would have been Super Mario Bros. Or Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but the box office achievement has nothing to do with quality of film, which has nothing to, like, no reason to be at an awards show.
Let me just say, thank God Mario didn't win this award, because that movie sucks.
The fact that it didn't win any awards made me happy. Oh.
It was so funny. We were watching the red carpet beforehand, and all the interviewers are talking. They're like, Barbie's gonna win this, Barbie's gonna win that, Barbie's gonna win this. Like, it's Barbie's year. Nope, Poor Thing's year. Poor Thing's sweep.
Gotta love Yorgos. What a
Yeah, the
wholesome
Oscar
man
is going to
he
be
seems
really
like.
interesting when you merge all the categories to one and it's not drama versus comedy.
Yeah.
Very
The fact
curious
that
to see.
The fact that he came on stage and before thanking anyone else, he thanked Bruce Springsteen. I think that's
Massive
pretty amazing.
W.
Chad.
Massive W. Gotta
Yeah.
love Bruce. Ah, I met Bruce Springsteen. He was doing a book signing in Portland, and we got tickets. And I waited in line for 4 hours, and I got to meet him. And he's real short, but he's so nice. He's
sick.
so nice. He's really short though. He's not tall. But yeah, awards. Great year for the awards. Now,
Jo Koy.
Jo Koy, my man.
Fuck this guy.
Dude, what the hell? He got like halfway through his monologue, and I was like, when are the jokes coming? He wasn't funny at all.
It was terrible.
And it was so
He
obvious.
drops a joke about Barbie being about a doll with big boobs.
He said
Did you
boobies.
watch the fucking
he said
movie?
Boobies.
Boobies.
In a
Did you,
on TV, he said boobies.
Did you
I
even
can't
watch the
believe
movie?
it.
The whole movie is against what he just said. He's like,
I have a transcript of the monologue open.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
So-
give it to us.
I'm just gonna read the whole thing. All right.
I have to say one thing really quick before you do that.
Yeah.
He is talking about how his New Year's resolution for 2024 is to finish Oppenheimer in 2025. Killers of the Flower Moon is like 45 minutes longer. What do you
Yeah,
mean?
Oppenheimer wasn't even the longest movie
don't
to
get
come
it.
out
Killers
this
of the
year.
Flower Moon is way longer. It's crazy.
It was.
All right.
It
Oh
was
my
so bad.
god.
Okay,
Please
here
don't
we
read the
go.
whole thing. Oh god.
Give it to us.
It starts off at an award show. Yo, I got the gig 10 days ago. You want a perfect monologue? Yo, shut up. You're kidding me, right? Slow down. I wrote some of these, and they're the ones you're laughing at. First line of the monologue.
Can I say something about that? As a stand-up comedian, that is the definition of toxic comedy. When
It's
you are
so-
bombing, you don't blame it on the crowd. You don't blame it on the people that wrote the jokes. You change something up to try to get the crowd back. That is what you do. You don't
didn't
go
even
blame
bomb
it
yet.
on other people.
He
It's so
bombed the
funny because
beginning.
like when you look at the other years, the host came back out all the fucking time, like every 5-10 minutes to talk about like whatever this and that. Ricky Gervais did like 3 different monologues. Tina
God,
Fey
dude.
and Amy Poehler did a bunch of. He was gone the moment that he popped up, like maybe once after the monologue.
I'm sure they had him in for more parts of the Golden Globes.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
After that opening, they were like, "Hey,
Yeah.
you just hang out back here."
Oh my god. Can we also quickly pit stop Will Ferrell and what's her name? Kristen Wiig
Yeah,
dancing the Kevin MacLeod music? What was that?
I thought
that
was
bit went
pretty-
off.
I
It was
thought that was
funny, but
pretty
it went
funny,
on
actually.
way too long. It was funny, but I was like, I just need to get to the awards because I was so burnt out on these bits from Jo Koy. Like,
Yeah,
I don't think it was a
Um,
bad bit. It just went on too long.
yeah, and also the whole joke he had about Taylor, like,
What was that, dude?
dude,
Not cool.
It was
Well, let's-
obvious that they need to get people in here that appreciate film. Like, they
Yeah.
should
Oh, yeah.
choose, like, a content creator every year to come up there and talk about these films and just have the guy be like, yeah, and this film was amazing. I mean, what? Like, that would
Okay.
be so much more enjoyable. It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
Let's keep going. On that, we'll get there when we get there.
One more thing.
Yes.
One category that really pissed me off, the way the box office achievement did for you, Jagger, the stand-up comedy category.
Dude,
now,
that
I am
Why
all
did
for,
Wanda Sykes not win?
I am all for stand-up comedians
yeah.
getting their kudos. I love that. I love that there's an award for them. Choose better specials.
Yeah.
None of those, I've watched those. None
Where
of
was
them
Baby
are funny.
J?
Where was Tom Segura? That
Exactly.
was
Baby J,
amazing.
Tom Segura, Shane Gillis's new special.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Stavros's new special.
Dude, Stavros is so funny. And then like honestly, Tom Segura should have been on here. He's one of the biggest stand-up comedians in the world. Even Burt Kreischer dropped a special. I haven't watched it. I don't know if it's good, but like
It's not. I can tell you that much because Burt
Tom
Kreischer
Segura
is not funny.
is like it's crazy he was not nominated for this.
Yeah, or John Mulaney for Baby J.
Yeah.
Or Nate Bargatze. Or like the biggest snub, in my opinion, this is who I would have given it to, Shane Gillis.
Yeah,
Shane
Shane
Gillis'
Gillis is
new
awesome.
special on Netflix is one of the funniest things I have ever witnessed. He is God, dude. Shane Gillis, man. Oh,
Dude, Baby J not being there is so beyond me. But let's keep going really quick.
yeah.
Welcome to the 81st Annual Golden Globes. I'm your host, Jo Koy. No one knew who he was. Thank God he said his name. Look, I'm just taking this all in. Let me look around. I'm taking this all in. I'm so excited to be here. This is a dream come true. Not just for me, but for everybody in here. Blessed thee, Jo Koy is here. We all dreamt of this moment, and look at this. You're gonna look around. Look around. Look, Kevin Costner's here. Kevin Costner is never here. Kevin's like in a mountain with a cow or something, but today he's here. Don Cheadle is here. I'm just looking around. Just everybody's here. Look.
What a weird
this
shout
is-
out to Don Cheadle.
I love it, though. Love
What
Don
is he?
Cheadle.
Yeah.
This is a good night, and I got the best seat in the house. Any thoughts on that paragraph, or shall I keep going?
I don't think we should read through. I am
let's
currently just like
I think we're good.
My heart is like it's just like I'm just like oh.
It's just he's trying way too hard.
He
The
is.
best hosts are just naturally going with the flow of the room, who's vibing out. Like nobody was interacting with him, and like it was just so dry, and he's like trying to talk to these people and they're not responding to him at all.
Yeah.
Oh,
You had
well,
presenters come
wish
up, and
we
the
could just
presenters
have Ricky Gervais
Yeah.
every year, dude.
like the presenters would come up and make more chemistry with the actors in the room than anyone else.
yeah.
I would just like to pull out a couple highlights then.
I'm gonna pee really
Okay.
quick while you do that. Sorry.
I would stay up late every night with my family just trying to guess who would win, and every time my mom would say, "It's Meryl Streep, stupid. Who else is gonna win? She wins every time." Then it panned to Meryl Streep, looking entirely uninterested.
Yes.
I only watched Beef because it's mandatory - I'm Asian. What's that for, dude? Not cool. While my family was out there clinking champagne glasses, something about Oppenheimer. My New Year's resolution for 2024 is to finish Oppenheimer in 2025. I'm almost there. No
It's
one's
not funny.
laughing.
Not funny.
Oppenheimer is based on a 721-page Pulitzer Prize-winning book about the Manhattan Project and Barbie on a plastic doll with big boobies.
God, I still can't believe he said boobies. That
On
blows my
national
mind.
television, man? Robert De Niro's here. Yo, I got the gig 10 days ago. You want a perfect monologue? Yo, shut up. You're kidding me, right? Slow down. I wrote some of these, and they're the ones you're laughing at. Look, Robert De Niro's here. I'm sorry. I'm a fan. I'm fanning out. I love you, Robert. Okay? If it's awkward, I'm sorry. I had to do that in front of you. It just gets worse and worse. Oh, here's a real hit. This whole paragraph. I watched Saltburn. You know what I loved about Saltburn? I learned that satanic families have feelings too. He could have ended it there, but no. Is Barry Keoghan here? Where's Barry Keoghan seated? Where's your penis seated? Down front? That was the real star of the movie, Barry Keoghan's penis. If you haven't seen Saltburn, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. So watch it.
How do you
you'll
think Barry was
understand.
feeling hearing that?
Mortified, and when the camera pointed to him, you could see it in his eyes. So then watch it, you'll understand what I was talking about, and then right after that, watch Barbie, and then you're gonna be like, something's missing, and then watch Maestro, and you'll be like, oh, there it is on Bradley Cooper's face. What? That's hilarious. I was watching Maestro, I was like, that thing was dancing in Saltburn.
That was the only joke that made me laugh.
Okay, that joke also made me laugh. I'm not gonna lie. That one actually made me laugh. I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah. But that's it. None of the other stuff made me laugh.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Maybe try the Oscars route and go no host.
So we will. I mean, this is obviously a great prerequisite for the Oscars of what will win awards and what won't. We will go over the Oscars once those come up. We will go in depth through each category of what we think is going to win the week before, so you guys can make your bets. Let's get into today. We are continuing on our journey of the IMDb top 250 with number 218. Holy cow. Number 218, The Terminator, one of the greatest sci-fi action films to ever be released. Came out in 1984, directed by the great Jim Cameron. Just an absolute Chad. Like, him and Ridley Scott. Just the stuff that have been coming. What was it? I think it was on Discussing Film's Twitter page. Ridley Scott, they were like asking, like historians were like judging his movie, and Napoleon and Ridley Scott said like, "What do you know? You weren't there."
Yep.
It's just like both of these guys are just Chads. I love it. In the post-apocalyptic future, reigning tyrannical supercomputers teleport a cyborg assassin known as the Terminator back to 1984 to kill Sarah Connor, whose unborn son is destined to lead insurgents against 21st century mechanical hegemony. I don't know how to say that. My apologies. Meanwhile, the human resistance movement dispatches a lone warrior to safeguard Sarah. Can he stop the virtually indestructible killing machine? This film stars Linda Hamilton. Love Linda Hamilton. Michael Biehn, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Lance Henriksen, Paul Winfield. Bill Paxton makes an appearance in this. 3.9 overall on Letterboxd and an IMDb score of 8.1. All right, fellas, The Terminator. Jagger, since you have it rated the lowest, I'm going to shoot it to you first. What are your opening thoughts on this film?
I think that it's good. I think the action's decent. I think that it's thoroughly entertaining. I have it at 4 stars because like the action is really what drives this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think realistically, like it's not a great movie, but I think that the fact that it's so fun is really what drives this movie.
For sure. Yeah. Evan, what about you? Opening thoughts?
Yeah, so I actually dropped my score to a 4-star as well.
Mm-hmm.
After sitting on it, I think this movie is awesome. Like my Letterboxd review says, let me pull it up.
It says this movie fucks.
This movie fucks. It simply fucks. That's it. Like it's just such a badass movie. Like the first 45, 30 minutes is just crazy. You've got Arnold dropping one-liners like crazy, nuking gang members in a police station. Like it is just really crazy. I think the whole it's Michael Biehn plays Kelsey, right? Or
Michael Biehn plays
I can't remember his name.
Reese.
Reese, yeah. Reese, Kyle, not Kelsey. Yeah. I think the romance is a little weird and like kind of forced, but this movie, like the pacing's really good. It's an hour 40. It goes by crazy fast. Like the first half is just so electric. And I think it loses a little steam in the second half, but it's just really fun. Yeah, like Jagger said, it's a fun action movie. The world building is pretty solid for what it is and how like little you kind of get of it. You still get a really great sense of danger and also what's to come.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's good. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on the world building. I'm a huge fan of this. I love Arnold. I just love like those actors who Arnold has never tried to do anything except be Arnold. You know,
Yeah.
he knows what. It's the same thing with Jason Statham.
Yes.
Jason Statham never does anything different, but that's because he knows what he's good at, and he just sticks with doing that. Before this, so Terminator was released in 1984. Before this, the only really big role he had was as Conan the Barbarian.
Right.
Which I believe was 82. That might have been 84. I think this might have been like his first big role.
Really? That's
No,
a crazy
Conan the
first big
Barbarian.
role.
He played Conan in 1982.
Big bad movie.
So before this, he was just like, I mean, obviously massive bodybuilder. Obviously, like just a massive dude, Mr. Universe, all that stuff. He didn't really have any acting credits, but this is kind of what set him off as like the next action movie star, you know, the next Sylvester Stallone. Because we obviously get him as the Terminator. Evan, as you said, we get those wonderful, wonderful one-liners, like the "I'll be back," and he drives into the police precinct.
Amazing.
Yeah, we get badass action moments from him, and this really like set off his career, not only as a recurring role in these films, but as Dutch in Predator. He was also Quaid in Total Recall. He was in so much stuff like this after being in Terminator. Which is so this movie really helped along his career. But also we get great performances from Linda Hamilton, who before watching this movie, I had only seen her in Children of the Corn, so I didn't really see her as this badass action hero, like a Laurie Strode type character, but she was great. We get Michael Biehn, who is so good in this movie.
I just watched this the other day and I was thinking to myself, imagine you're Sarah Connor and you just see on the news, in local news, Sarah Connor murdered. In local news, Sarah Connor murdered. Sarah Connor
losing my shit.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, as far as plot goes, I don't think there's really too much here as far as plot, character development, all that stuff. I think I really just watch these movies. And I feel this way about most Arnold movies. I watch them for the action, for the cheesy one-liners, for just like the badassery that happens. Yeah. And this film has all of that. I'm wondering for you guys, let's just get into our 4 questions. Most rewatchable scene for you.
I'll take it with just the "I'll be back" scene.
Yeah.
Peak.
Yeah. Evan, what about you?
I mean that's an obvious pick. It's probably mine. I also love when he goes to the gun store and he's like, I want this, or he's like, oh, which one do you want? And he's like, all of them, and he just blasts the gun store clerk through the chest with the shotgun.
Yeah.
And also he's like, oh, I want this like 50mm laser rifle, and he's like,
huh? It's like, sir, I don't know what you're talking about.
But yeah, that's a great scene. And when he's like buck naked and he goes up to the gang members and he's like, give me your clothes, and they pop the knife and he just punches the dude straight through the chest. Like,
yeah,
that first 30-40 minutes is really where Arnold shines.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
I think for me it's the scene where the car chase where he's chasing Reese and Sarah. I think that's an excellent. I'm a huge sucker for a great car chase scene.
Yeah.
And I thought that was excellent.
Yeah, we'll get into it more with Terminator 2 whenever we hit that.
Yeah.
Talk about a car chase.
What about who won this movie? I mean, I think I already made it clear who won for me. Arnold. This movie kind of set off his career. What about you guys?
It has to be Arnold. And also, like, for badass scenes, like, this guy dropped an entire police station, and they're like, oh, you'll be safe here, Sarah Connor. Like, he's just a badass.
Yeah.
I mean, he's killing a bunch of people, but like you're just like, yeah, this is awesome. Like Arnold won this movie. He's who you watch it for.
Well then,
Exactly.
I'll take the other pick because I mean obviously Arnold did win this movie, but just to give some kind of variety, I'll go Linda Hamilton. I mean,
Yeah.
Valid.
start of an era, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I thought this was James Cameron's directorial debut, but it's not. He came out with Piranha 2, The Spawning, in 1982 as his first feature-length film.
You know what?
In 84.
Something else that I could say one.
Yeah.
The year 1984. If this movie came out at any other era in time,
Oh my gosh.
it'd be
what
so
a
bad.
stacked year.
Yeah, man. Stop Making
Holy
Sense
cow.
came out in that year.
I mean, you got Terminator, you got Peak with the Ghostbusters, you got Nightmare on Elm Street, Paris, Texas, Temple of
Paris,
Doom,
Texas. That's crazy.
Amadeus, Gremlins, Nausicaa and the Valley
Holy.
of Wind, the most underrated Studio Ghibli movie in my opinion. You got Once Upon a Time in America, Karate Kid, Stop Making Sense came out this year, 16 Candles, Spinal Tap, Blood Simple, Footloose.
That's
Holy
crazy.
cow, what a crazy year.
Threads came out that year. Toxic
dude.
Avenger.
Threads is a terrifying movie.
That is an insane year for film.
1984, casually dropping one of the greatest films ever made, Paris, Texas.
This movie's so good. It's so good. I mean, you got Police Academy, The Natural. Oh my god.
That's nuts.
Well, thanks. Great shout out, Jagger. I would have never even... Beverly Hills Cop, Never Ending Story. Holy cow.
What a goated year.
And also,
For real.
we can't forget peak, David Lynch's Dune.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
I
man.
intentionally skipped over that one.
Ouch. What a stab at Dune.
That movie sucks.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Oh, well then, whenever we get around to making that episode, that'll be fun. I love Dune.
Which one? The old one?
The 84 David Lynch one.
Have you seen Denis Villeneuve's Dune?
No, but I
Okay.
do love the 84 one.
Yeah, watch
Dude,
the new one, and then you won't
Denis-
love the original one anymore.
The new one is fucking unbelievable.
Well,
And-
they
You
also
better watch
said-
it before March, because we're going to be talking about it.
Well, everyone
Wait, is-
always said that Blade Runner 2049 was really good, and then I watched that, and now I don't trust anyone anymore. Oh no.
Leave it alone, Evan.
What do-
It's
what do
okay.
you mean,
Deep breaths.
bro?
Deep breaths.
What do you mean?
We after Kubrick, we're doing a Wong Kar-wai watch through,
Yes, sir.
and then we'll do a Denis Villeneuve. So we'll do Prisoners. We'll do Incendies. We'll do Blade Runner 2049. We'll do Dune. We'll do Sicario. We'll do Arrival. Because that man, talk about a stacked filmography.
Yes.
Well, I'll casually sit here and hate on Blade Runner 2049 and give some interesting conversations.
I want to get
guess.
into it now, but I know we can't. What do you have it scored at?
What do I have it scored at? 3 stars, being generous because of its visuals.
What do you have the original Blade Runner at?
I have not logged it, but I did shut it off. Yeah.
Huh? Casually
I find-
shutting off maybe the greatest science fiction movie ever. That's nuts.
Okay, I just think that the story is so pathetic. We'll get into that another day.
Yeah,
That'll just
we'll
be
get
another
into
day.
We'll do a Blade Runner episode.
Holy shit. Blade Runner double feature.
Yeah.
Next question.
Does Terminator belong on the IMDb top 250?
Oh, absolutely.
I agree as well.
It's iconic. It's classic.
Yeah.
It's
a
not as
classic.
good as like Terminator 2, but like it's still a classic action movie that set the precedent for a badass movie. Like
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree.
yeah.
Now, we finally found, and it's been weeks. It has been weeks since we have found a worthy adversary for Jack from The Shining. But does the Terminator defeat Jack one-on-one?
I mean, no weapons.
No weapons.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
There's no contest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Finally.
Dude, even with weapons.
Even if Jack had weapons and the Terminator didn't.
Jack's really slow.
Yeah. Terminator wins easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Logan versus the Terminator is going to be an interesting one.
You mean Logan versus Jack Torrance?
Oh, are we comparing all of them to Jack Torrance?
Yeah, that's the bit.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Sorry,
would your main character win in a fight against Jack Torrance? We haven't told you about that.
I'll fight for Jack Torrance on that one, but when we get there, we get there.
Against Logan?
Yeah, man.
What?
No weapons. It's no claws. I mean, it's two really muscular
That's not
dudes.
a weapon. That's a body part. That's a body part for Logan.
That's a weapon, man.
Also, Logan has regeneration powers. Like, what?
Yeah, he has regenerational abilities. And in this case, we're going to be talking Logan post-adamantium procedure. So every single bone in his body is covered in the most indestructible metal known to man.
But he's Jack Torrance.
How many movies have you watched with Wolverine, Jagger?
X-Men First Class. X-Men.
He's in that movie for a scene. Have you watched Logan?
No.
Ooh.
He is Wolverine is him.
Yeah.
I watched X-Men Apocalypse.
Did you skip Days of Future Past?
Yes, I did.
Dude,
it's the
you gotta watch
best one. What do you
Days
mean?
of Future Past is one of the greatest superhero movies ever made.
So good.
Oh, here's my hot take. X-Men Apocalypse is like a 3.5.
That's not a hot take.
That's not
It's
a
not?
hot take.
Oh,
that's
everyone
how
I
Dude,
know
Days
hates
of Future Past is a 5-star. That's why people hate on
Days of Future Past
Apocalypse.
is a 5-star.
Because
that's
Apocalypse
why people
is
hate
a step
Apocalypse.
on. Yeah,
yes,
it's a big step down.
Yeah.
Well, now to
but
really
it's not
live
bad. It's actually pretty good.
Go
Well, now I
watch
gotta-
Days of Future Past today.
Now I have to live up to what I just said.
Have you seen First Class? The one that
No.
Matthew Vaughn directed?
Yes,
oh
I
my
did.
god,
I
dude.
I did.
First Class is a 4.5. Days of Future Past is a 5. Easily.
Okay.
It's so good.
X-Men Rise of the Silver Surfer is like a 3.5 or a 4.
That's Fantastic
That's
Four, my guy.
Fantastic Four.
Oh, Fantastic Four. Wait, what did I say?
You said X-Men.
X-Men Rise of Silver Surfer.
My bad. Fantastic Four Rise of Silver Surfer is
Big
like a
fan.
3.5 or a 4.
You just need to do an X-Men watch through. You need to watch the original trilogy. You need to watch X-Men Origins Wolverine and The Wolverine. And you need to watch the prequels as well. Because there's a lot of great like X-Men and X2 are amazing. X-Men Last Stand is all right. It's pretty good. It's not amazing, but it's pretty good. X-Men Origins Wolverine has its issues, has more continuity issues than in any movie I have ever seen.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's a fun time. The Wolverine,
Underrated
really good.
as hell. It's so underrated.
It's so good. X-Men First Class, banger. X-Men Days of Future Past, maybe top 5 superhero films of all time.
Yes.
X-Men Apocalypse, it's pretty good. Dark Phoenix,
I didn't even see
shit.
Dark Phoenix.
It's
I didn't
utter
even watch
shit.
it.
But Logan, that is top 3 superhero movies ever made.
Yes.
Top 3 superhero
Make sure
movies
you watch
ever.
Days of Future Past before the
Watching-
Logan review in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because it's amazing.
Okay, what's the consensus here on Thor: Love and Thunder?
I didn't watch it, and I won't.
Really?
Yeah, fuck
Jagger,
that.
What about you?
Oh, I don't have it rated? Oh, I'm gonna rate it 3.5.
Higher than Blade Runner 2049.
By
I had
miles.
fun with it. I thought Thor: Love and Thunder was fun. I think it definitely had its issues. I think it leaned too heavily on the comedy.
I don't mind though. That's what the comics are like.
But I thought it was fun. But yeah, dude, you need to get into the X-Men universe. Wolverine is fucking elite. Like, the only way they killed him in the comics was there's a comic called The Death of Wolverine. And the only way he died was because he was covered completely head to toe in adamantium and frozen like a statue.
Whoa.
There is a comic called Old Man Logan. It is one of the greatest comic
so
book
good.
series
It's
I've
so
ever read.
good.
There is a scene in there where the Hulk eats Wolverine. He eats him. Wolverine regenerates in his stomach and kills the Hulk by tearing him from the inside out. It is unbelievable.
Wolverine is him, bro.
He really is. I mean, Wolverine has been bombed by a nuke and survived.
See, that's exactly why Jack Torrance could beat him.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's
Jack
move on.
Torrance is the bomb.
Terminator's fucking awesome. Let's move on. Terminator's great. Terminator's great. Jagger's takes are making me sad. Let's go. What have we been watching? That's our next segment.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah, let's get into it. Who wants to kick it off?
I will.
Okay, go ahead, Jagger. We're
right.
going back to the second. What have you been watching?
Okay, on the second, I watched Saltburn. On the third, I watched Saltburn. On the third, again, I watched Barbie. Fourth, I watched Bling Ring. The fifth, I watched Hotel, the new OJ production. Absolutely peak.
Hell yeah.
On the sixth, I watched none other than Saltburn. On the seventh, I watched Oppenheimer. On the eighth, I watched Parasite in black and
Wait,
white.
you watched Oppenheimer? Do you still have it at a 4-star?
I brought it down to a 3.5.
Oh my god. Jagger, you're really enraging us today.
This is a crazy episode.
On the eighth, I watched Parasite in black and white. 5 stars. I think that watching it in black and white is absolutely splendid. It really accentuates the dialogue, the VO, and the acting. I think that's really great. I think that the dialogue is very evocative for the purposes that it needs to be, and I think that things like that will go further into that when we talk about Old Boy, which I double featured it with, 4.5. Watching Old Boy with commentary makes you realize exactly how incredible it is. I think if you talk about something that's truly evocative, you are looking at all of the VO in Old Boy, and that was totally intentional. It was added at the very last minute. I think that that's incredible to think about. That originally Old Boy was supposed to have a lot of quiet to it, but I think that the fact that they chose to not do that is great. I also think that the differentiations between the book that it's based on and it itself as a film, I think that those things that differentiate the two are beautiful.
It's a graphic novel, right?
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So mad respect to everyone that worked on that film, all of the trouble that they went through to give us a good film. I think that that's the dedication that film needs. That's why people like Kubrick are so brilliant. Then to follow up 2 masterpieces, I hit them with Five Nights at Freddy's, 4 stars. Or no, 4.5. My bad. God. I have that.
Evan. Deep breaths.
I realize now that I put my camera on and Jagger saw that, so he's just hitting me with the hot takes so you can see my reactions.
I gave that one a 93 out of 100.
That's crazy.
As a fan, that movie just makes me so happy. So
that defense is crazy because that movie is just so boring.
Then I went to a slightly lower rated 86 out of 100 horror movie. I went to Talk to Me next. I think Five Nights at Freddy's, in my opinion, is a little bit more of an enjoyable experience, but I do think Talk to Me is great. And then I hit him with Saltburn this morning. So
Talk to Me is so good. How can you say that?
I think that it is very good.
Hey,
It's
man,
a 4.5, but it's
at least this this pod might go viral because of the takes in this episode.
Dude, Talk to Me is like...
I am getting physically sick right now.
Talk to Me below Five Nights at Freddy's is insane.
Well, I'm not saying anything bad about Talk to Me. I'm just saying
Yeah, but you're
that
saying too much good about Five Nights at Freddy's.
it's peak, dude.
You know what,
You're gonna-
Jagger? I will say this. I respect you so much because of the reason that you don't give a fuck and you don't let anyone influence your opinions on movies. Your opinions are your opinions and you never change. And I respect that so much. I wish I could be like that. I let other people's opinions affect my opinions so much and you don't. Your opinions are your opinions and you stay true to that and I respect that. And I
Dude,
love
I've
that.
watched Saltburn 4 times in the last week. I've got my own opinion on everything. No. Real talk,
it's
though,
okay.
I do think that me having my own opinions makes it a lot easier to just say, I watched Saltburn 4 times in the last week. I watched Bling Ring once because it's absolutely peak, and I prefer Five Nights at Freddy's.
I do agree with the Bling Ring. Bling Ring is great. Have you seen that, Evan?
No, I really want to though.
The
I've heard
Coppola,
it's great.
Sofia Coppola. It's really good.
And
I
I'm
haven't
able
seen
to
any
say
of the
that I
movies
have...
yet.
Oh, yeah. I have Five Nights at Freddy's higher than Old Boy. Pretty sick, huh? That's a take.
Yep, that is a take. No, you haven't seen any Sofia Coppola?
No, I'm gonna start with Lost in Translation though.
That's a good idea. That's her best work, in my opinion.
I've heard it's the counterpiece to Her, so I really want to watch it.
Yeah, we talked about that because I think it was our first Friday night double feature episode. We did Her and Lost in Translation.
Oh yeah.
And it's because Sofia Coppola and Spike Jonze were married, and then they got divorced.
Yeah.
And then, like a year later, Sofia Coppola came out with Lost in Translation, and then 10 years later, Spike Jonze came out with Her. And it's like it's supposedly their perspectives on their relationship
that's super
together.
cool.
So I would recommend watching that as a double feature, going from Lost in Translation to Her.
Dude, Her. I haven't seen Her in a long time because it makes me sad.
Dude, I have.
Soul
There are
crushing
a few
movie.
movies that make me sob harder than Her. That is something all three of us can agree on. That movie is peak. That movie is peak.
So good.
It's so good. Evan, what about you? What have you been watching recently?
I have been watching a whole lot of Peak. January has been a stacked month, except one short film I watched because I wanted to log something on the day of the Golden Globes. I kicked off January with Oppenheimer. I think I said that last time.
Yeah.
It's a 5-star. It's perfect. Every time I watch it, it gets better.
Mm-hmm.
Then I watched The Creator. I went into this with very, very low expectations. I thought it was going to be like a 2-star max. It was awesome. The plot is very, very shallow. That's fine. John David Washington is very much lacking charisma in this movie.
Yeah.
This movie is so much fun to watch, and visually it is out of this world. I gave it a 4-star. It's sick.
Yeah, I've heard visually it's really
It's sick. It's on Disney Plus. Go watch it. It's really good. Don't go in with crazy expectations. Just go in expecting to have a cool time and look at some cool shit. It has a Radiohead needle drop that is like my favorite thing ever.
What
Radiohead,
song?
Everything in Its Right Place.
Cool. I love
Radiohead's my
needle
favorite
drops.
band. I have 2 Radiohead tattoos. These are both
W?
Radiohead tattoos. My favorite band. So yeah, that movie was sick. I loved it. Then I watched The Society of the Snow. I highly recommend this movie. I like disaster movies, so yeah, I mean this is up my alley. Even if you don't, go watch it. It's really, really touching and intense. Technically, it's a marvel. Like it is so well made.
Yeah.
Especially.
Can I ask you? What you said you like disaster movies? What are your thoughts on The Day After Tomorrow with Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah. So the disaster movies I'm talking about are the Roland Emmerichs and the like San Andreas with The Rock. I think those movies are super fun. 2012 with John Cusack, maybe one of the most fun movies I've ever watched. I love them.
I hate that one, but The Day After Tomorrow, I think is peak. I love that movie.
Peak.
Keep going.
Society of the Snow is it's a tough watch. It really is. It is the plane crash. So if you don't know what this movie's about, it's a true story and it's been made before a couple times. It's there's this movie from the 90s with Ethan Hawke called Alive. That's based on this plane crash, and then Yellow Jackets, the TV show, is also based on this plane crash. So it's about a rugby team with their families that are flying through the Andes Mountains to Argentina, or I believe.
Yeah.
And they crash in this trying to climb a mountain and end up in this valley, and they're there for a long time. I won't drop any spoilers because it's just kind of better to not know who survives, who doesn't, how long they're there, all that. It is, yeah, it's a tough watch. The crash is insane. There's some avalanche scenes that are like they just make you want to cry because they're so intense.
Yeah.
Acting is great. I think it has some issues because the cast is decently big, with you getting to know everybody and caring about everybody. Like you care about a small group of them, but there's a decent amount of them that survive the plane crash. So
Yeah.
I think, and it's a long movie. It's 2.5 hours, but I don't think it fleshes out all of its characters perfectly. I gave it a 4.5 stars. It's really good. The ending made me sob like a child. Like I was bawling my eyes out. I loved it.
Love that.
And then I watched my new third favorite movie of 2023. I updated my list on the AFE Letterboxd. Rice Boy Sleeps. You guys both have to go watch this movie. It is insane. It's perfect. It is so well made. It's kind of like Past Lives, where it's partially in English, partially in Korean. Yeah, Korean. It's really, really touching. Go into it blind. Don't want to give anything away. It's really well acted. Very tragic, but amazing. Heartfelt. Great. Go watch it. I watched The Truman Show for the first time.
Peak.
I went into this movie with sky high expectations. And I'm not going to lie, it let me down a bit. I've seen people give this movie top 10 of all time.
It's not top 10 of all time.
No.
It's
and
not
I was
even close to like my top 100, but it's
that's
really
my thing.
good.
So I was expecting top 10 of all time. I gave it a 4-star. I really like it. I think it's fun. Jim Carrey's great. Laura Linney's good. She's like maybe Skylar White annoying in Ozark, so I already don't like her. So I didn't like her in this movie, even though, I mean, that's just like my thing.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. It was good. Yeah, my expectations were just too high.
Yeah, I've never understood the hype. I mean, I think I have it at like a 4.5. I think it's really good. I just don't think it's one of the greatest movies ever made.
Yeah, me either. Yeah, and then I watched Heat. Peak. It is one of the best heist movies ever made. The scene with Al Pacino and De Niro at the diner is an all-timer. It's one of the best scenes ever made. It's peak. Yeah. That's all I have to say. Go watch Heat. It's great. And then I watched maybe the greatest film ever made, Paddington 2. It's perfect.
Paddington.
It's perfect. I showed it to my family on the weekend. We were all crying together. It's perfect. Paddington's peak. I would die for Paddington. That's all I gotta say.
Wouldn't we all though? The scene in the first one where they're at the restaurant and they're like, maybe we'll call you Paddington, and he takes the ketchup bottle and he's like, Paddington, and then spray. Makes me laugh every time. It's so those movies are just so silly.
Yeah,
I love
Jagger, have you seen Paddington 2?
No, I'm just trying to recuperate with the fact that you just said that Truman Show is anything besides 5 stars.
It's not.
It's not 5 stars.
I don't think it's a particularly deep movie. I think that it tries a little too hard to be showy. I think Jim Carrey's amazing in it, but I thought the story was a little...
It's not even his best performance either.
No, it's not. Eternal Sunshine bodies this movie. Absolutely bodies it.
Here's a hot take. His performance in Ace Ventura, also better than his performance in Truman Show.
Respect. I think the Truman Show is like a fun watch. I don't think it has a lot to say, even though it tries to say a lot about humanity and life. I think it's pretty boilerplate. I liked it a lot.
Neither of you have reviewed Man on the Moon, correct?
I haven't seen it.
No.
Well, then neither of you can speak about Jim Carrey performance.
Have you seen Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
Yes, I have.
You think that's better? Man on the Moon's better?
I do.
Jagger
think
Man on the Moon is also in his like top 10. So
we'll see. I'll watch it. Paddington 2 is peak. It's genuinely maybe one of the greatest films ever made. I've seen it 4 or 5 times in 2023 plus, like in the last year. It's awesome. Then I watched Monster, which is a 2023 release. I had to go to some weird places to watch this movie. I liked it. I watched this at like 6 a.m. with all of the lights off and multiple blankets, so I kind of dozed through the first like 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to rewatch it, but I liked it a lot. It was really good. Yeah, I need to rewatch it. I gave it a 4-star. And then I watched Taste of Cherry on the Criterion Channel.
Is that the Alfonso Cuarón one?
I don't think so.
Oh, I thought that was Alfonso Cuarón.
This is directed by Abbas Kiarostami. I'm probably butchering that. This is a movie about a man who wants to end his life, and he drives around trying to find somebody to bury him after he dies.
Mm-hmm.
It is flawless. This movie is so good. It's a pretty fast paced, and most of it is shot just from like his passenger seat as he drives around looking for somebody to bury him and take this job.
Yeah,
it's really, really good. I loved it. Terminator we touched on, and then last night I watched Close, which is a 2022 release. It's about 2 best friends, and when they're kids, and something happens to one of them, and it's kind of about just life and human emotion. I thought it was incredible. I watched it right before bed last night because I went to bed super early before my baking shift, and I was just laying in bed like distraught. But it's really good. It was on Netflix for a while. I don't think it's on there anymore. I just rented it. Check it out. It's really good. I gave it a 5-star. Yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Yeah. For me, after we did Jai Bim, I gave Cloverfield a rewatch, which might be at number 2 for me for found footage horror films. Great alien flick, great monster flick, just really, really
Is Blair
solid.
Witch number 1?
Yes.
W.
As far as
Big
found
W.
footage goes, I think that's
Thank
the GOAT.
God.
It's the OG. It's the GOAT.
Thank God I found my people.
Jagger, are you a fan of Blair Witch? I know it's not your favorite, but are you a fan? Do you enjoy it?
It's good. It's good. I really respect it. I mean, I don't think I enjoy it as much as other people, but my respect is through the roof.
Yeah, as long as you have respect for it.
Yeah. The shot at the end when the guy is just standing in the corner haunted my dreams for months. Like legit months.
It's so creepy.
It's so creepy. That movie's scary. Cloverfield's a banger. Matt Reeves is just
he cooks, man.
He cooks.
And then I dipped my toe into Tim Burton's live action films with Sleepy Hollow, which I didn't think I would enjoy. I was going in with kind of low expectations, but I did really enjoy it. Some gnarly kills in that movie. And it also really fun. I think I finally also understand the hype behind the girls swooning over Johnny Depp. I mean, my God, what a good looking man. And then I watched Bo Burnham's Inside. Was
that a first watch?
Yeah. I'd only ever seen his first special. My God. Peak.
Inside is, in my opinion, one of the greatest pieces of media released in like the last 15, 20 years. It's
so good.
So good. Oh,
well, then I'll keep to myself.
Do you know?
There's no way, bro.
You'll get used to it, Evan. You'll get
the
used
songs
to it.
in Inside in the second half specifically send me into existential depressive spirals.
And it's so interesting watching it so far removed from COVID.
Yeah.
And looking back, it's crazy. Jagger, what
and
do you
knowing
have
like
at?
What do I have it at? I've tried at least 5 times to make it through, and every time I just like groan and shut it off. Like I've made it to like the hour mark. That's as far as I've made it so far. I mean, I'll try again. It's been like 3 weeks. I just can never do it. I just find it to be incredibly unentertaining and really bad, and I don't want to give it half a star for the sake of repercussion.
Jeez.
So
Trey,
I'll try
half
again.
of Inside is on my Spotify Wrapped.
Dude, it's so good. And
Goodbye
some of those songs bang.
as an ending.
What's What's the opening one? I can't remember, but
I've also
dude,
tried Make Happy and I don't think I like Bo Burnham, and that could
yeah,
very well be
that's
it.
fair.
Content.
Yeah,
I made you some
some
content. Oh,
content. Oh god, dude, I
it's
just
so
love
good.
him. I love Bo Burnham. He has my all-time favorite Vine. Jagger isn't old enough to remember Vine
Yeah.
in its peak days, but he's playing the piano and he's like, "Is there anything better than pussy?" Yes, a really good book. It's just so stupid. But yeah, really enjoyed that. I watched The Houses That October Built. That was fine. Another found footage horror film. Wasn't that good. It was fine. I watched a vampire movie called 30 Days of Night with Josh Hartnett. That was honestly kind of banged.
I've
Pretty
always wanted to
fun.
watch that.
It's a good time. It's on Netflix right now. I would recommend checking it out. Some gnarly kills. I felt it was a good time. Ben Foster's in it too, so you can never go wrong with some Ben Foster.
What a chat. I love him.
Rewatched 2001 for our episode this Friday, where we will be reviewing that and Doctor Strangelove. I still think it's the greatest film of all time. It's just immaculate.
Valid take.
With Ben, who's been on here before, and from the Real Talk Discord, we watched When a Stranger Calls, the remake from 06, which now I want to see the original, which I'm sure is much better. This one was still super fun. I mean, it's the call is coming from inside the house, like that whole thing. Like, have you checked the children? Like, I used to tell this scary story at like summer camp. Like, it's just, it's iconic. It was stupid, but it was fun. Very early 2000s horror. And then I watched Private Life, which was a drama with Catherine Hahn and Paul Giamatti, about them trying to have a baby. Amazing, really good. Paul Giamatti is that guy. Watched The Babysitter, which came out in 2017. Thought that was fine. The vibe of it didn't really work for me till the last like half hour. But yeah, that was fine. Let's see. Ides of March, really, really good. Another movie where Gosling just absolutely carries. Clooney is also great in this. You get Philip Seymour Hoffman, you get Paul Giamatti, Evan Rachel Wood, Marissa Tomei, Jeffrey Wright. Stacked cast here. Also directed by George Clooney. Just a great film.
He's such a good director.
He really is. And then I rewatched Doctor Strangelove. It's so funny. It's timeless. The fact that I'm still able to laugh out loud at a movie from 1964 is mind-blowing. Hilarious. So good. Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room. Just peak comedy. Then I watched Saltburn, just for Jagger. I thought it was all right. I didn't think it was anything special. I think they tried to deliver. I understood the themes and the messages they were trying to deliver. I just think they fell flat for me. And it felt kind of shallow. But that's just me. Barry Keoghan gave a great performance. Jacob Lordy was great. After that, I watched a found footage horror called The Deep House, which was pretty mid. Not good. Don't watch it. This is where I'll talk about this. And then I didn't really log it. The only thing I logged for the next couple of days was The Thing. I went and saw that. A theater near me was doing a viewing of that in 35 millimeter.
Oh my god.
Which was full theater, seen The Thing in 35 millimeter.
I'm so jealous.
Dude, it was awesome. That's the best theater
That sounds
experience
incredible.
ever. Everybody was like, and it wasn't like people were like talking throughout the whole thing. Like everybody was invested in watching the movie and everybody was a huge fan of it. Like when the opening credits come up and John Carpenter's name come up, everybody was like, yeah, woo!
That's awesome.
Like just a bunch of Carpenter fans. It was a blast. That's a great film. One of
Yeah,
the
even
greatest
though I
movies.
don't love John Carpenter, the
Movie's
Thing is
amazing.
just perfect.
It's so good. Jagger, do you have that at a 5-star?
Yes.
Yeah. It's,
Come on.
I mean, some of the greatest practical effects that I've ever gazed on the screen. The scene with the defibrillator where it goes
Iconic.
through the chest and then he gets his arms chomped off. Just insanity, dude.
Dude, I really wish that I had seen the movie because I saw that scene on Watch Mojo lists when I was like 14 countless times, and I hadn't seen the movie yet.
Yeah. Oh man,
Curse you,
Watch
Watch Mojo.
Mojo. What a throwback. Also a
The
recommendation
Thing
if
is
you
like,
Oh, go ahead, Jagger. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, The Thing is really like the Beatles of horror. Like
It
it's
really is.
truly one of the best.
Yeah. Even though the Beatles, it's more like Led Zeppelin
Trey,
of horror.
Hold
We
on a
can
minute.
get into this conversation, and I'll tell you why the Beatles aren't a good band.
Go for it.
And I'm not like denying. I have respect for them. But it's more proof why generic pop music makes people popular. Because it's generic. It's easy to process. Everything that made the Beatles was stolen from Black American musicians. It's the same thing Elvis did.
That is a fair point.
The
but-
only song that Elvis wrote and was popular was Can't Help Falling in Love. Everything else was a cover from a Black blues American artist. And the Beatles are the same. The Beatles are the kids' bop of the 60s, man. The only truly talented Beatle was George Harrison, and he was the most underused Beatle.
Trey, name one bad song on Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
I'm not saying they're bad. I'm saying it's
derivative.
generic. It's
Okay.
derivative. Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band came out post Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys. Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys is the greatest pop record ever made. And the Beatles listened to it and were like, okay, we're going to do the same thing. And created Sgt. Pepper's.
Okay, but Sgt. Pepper's is still an incredibly legendary band with banger after banger. And the Beatles have created some of the most easily listenable songs ever.
Yeah, and they
I will
took
sit
it from
here-
people.
I know, but
the Beatles are kids bop, dude. They took
Yeah, but
great
the Beatles
music
are incredible
and
in
dumbed it
quality.
down for a general audience.
Okay, but the Come Together version by the Beatles is better than the Aerosmith version. I will defend
Not
that.
true.
Okay, but the Come Together is one of the most, in my opinion, one of the most easy to just listen to songs ever. I think that
Yeah,
there are
Come
a lot
Together
of...
by Aerosmith.
Ouch. Okay. Here
I have
comes
no
the
stake
sun.
in this game because I don't listen to the Beatles ever.
Here
Good.
comes the sun. Hey Jude. Let
Yeah.
it be. The entire
Really basic
Rooftop
pop
album.
songs.
Hey Jude's a banger, but it's a pretty basic song. It's like
Hey
8 minutes
Jude,
long, and
Hey Jude.
over half of it is just
Hey Jude
na,
was
na, na, na,
covered
na.
by Wilson Pickett. If you go listen to Wilson Pickett covering Hey Jude, it is leagues better. It is so much better than the Beatles version.
What about Get Back? An absolutely legendary song.
Yeah, it's legendary. It's iconic. I never said they weren't iconic. I never said they weren't legendary.
I don't mean iconic. I don't mean iconic. I say legendary in the sense that it is one of the greatest songs ever written.
It's one of the most basic songs ever written. Nothing they did broke barriers. Nothing they did added to music as a whole.
Okay.
Right? And
All
then,
right.
but then you go look at players, you go look at Jimi Hendrix, you go look at Zeppelin, you go look at Clapton, you go look at these amazing musicians, and they pushed the boundaries of what the genre did.
Trey,
The Beatles never did that.
I I love the Beatles, and to bring it back to the film conversation, how does the Beatles does more for music than Oppenheimer does for film?
All right, moving on. So the reason you can't be reasoned with Jagger.
How do we even get to the Beatles conversation?
He was. We're just gonna move on. Jesus Christ. So I also didn't log. The only thing I logged from the 6th to the 8th was The Thing, and that is because I was watching Mindhunter. I binged that in 2 days. It's the greatest show I've ever watched. I think it is Fincher's best work. It's fucking amazing. Everybody go watch Mindhunter. It's unbelievable that was canceled. Just blows my fucking mind. And I would highly recommend going and binging it. It's amazing. If you're into true crime, it's amazing. Yeah, that show was amazing. And then yesterday I watched Circle on Netflix.
That movie's fun.
It's all right. And then I watched Side Effects. Steven Soderbergh directed it.
I fucking love that movie, bro.
Steven Soderbergh just needs to stick to heist movies.
Really? Dude, the last act of that movie is crazy.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. And then I watched Scanners this morning.
Scanners is good.
My first Cronenberg movie. My first David Cronenberg movie, let me say that. His son, I can't remember his name.
Brandon
Cronenberg. I watched Infinity Pool. Now that
you gotta watch
movie,
Possessor, bro.
But yeah, that was my first dip into the Cronenberg universe. I enjoyed it a good amount. He directed A History of Violence?
Yes, peak.
Oh man, I need to watch that.
It's a good movie.
But yeah, that's what I've been watching. Thank you for joining us today on The Average Film Enjoyer. Share this with your friends so they can also get enraged by our insanely hot takes on this episode. I have a genuine headache right now.
I had zero hot takes this episode. It was you two.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Oh, come on now.
Shut
you had
up, Jagger.
multiple Blade Runner. God, Finance Freddy's. Shake my head.
Yeah. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, leave us a review. Leave us a 5-star review. We love the support. And if you're watching this on YouTube, leave us a comment. What do you think Jagger's hottest take is? Go check out his Letterboxd. Go check out our HQ. Give us a follow on Letterboxd, The Average Film Enjoyer. It's titled AFE Pod, I think. If you want to check out some of our merch, Jagger currently has the Average Film Enjoyer pickleball set up behind his head right there. If you want to check that out, afepod.com. That is afepod.com. You can check out all of our merch. We still have stuff up from our Hooptober series, a lot of horror movie merch, some great stuff up there. If you want to follow us on our socials, I am Trey the Film Noob everywhere. Evan is Evan0567 on Letterboxd, and Jagger is Jagger Film Fan on Letterboxd. Jagger the Movie Guy on Instagram and Twitch, and Jagger Film Reviews on TikTok and Twitter. It's muscle memory at this point, man. My mouth just kind of does it. Thank you for joining us today. We will be back Friday with our review of Dr. Strangelove and 2001, the beginning of peak in Stanley Kubrick's filmography. And then next Tuesday, we will be back with the true and heartbreaking story that is Spotlight.
Best Picture winner.
Yeah, one of the most... I can't tell you. I sat there for 30 minutes in my bed in silence after watching that movie for the first time. It's a heartbreaking watch, but I'm excited to talk about it because I think it's a great film as well. But yeah, thank you for joining us today on The Average Film Enjoyer, and we will see you Friday.